Welcome back, and today we're talking about Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld episode 22. So like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 22 opens up with Alice being in the real world, and I thought we had a time skip. I thought it was like 4 or 5 years because the robots that we've seen inside that turtle or whatever that, boat or ship is, they were not anywhere near close to looking like a human. They didn't even move like a human. So they definitely made some advancements, or they already had those in place, but they weren't with the ship or anything like that. But that's besides the point. We got to see Alice in the real world, and of course we got to see humans kind of question her and stuff like that about opening up her brain to see how the brain works for a robot, for AI and stuff like that. And of course Alice came back saying, well, how do we prove you're human? Let's open up your brain. It was a very awesome moment. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was crazy, right? Because they were trying to say, well, if she's AI and a robot and all this stuff, is she going to be doing unskilled labor? Is she just going to, start doing all of our labor that we don't really need humans doing? And, just to either bring costs down or make more money, whatever the case. And of course, Alice has a problem with this. I mean, the way they did this, right? If you think about it, we've been in the world of the underworld for a very long time. We have met Alice for a very long time. We've been inside this world for a very long time, to where we think of Alice like a legit human being. So us as the viewer, I'm kind of like thinking, bro, you out of your mind if you think Alice is going to become like some type of like slave labor and stuff like that. No, she's definitely somebody that needs human rights. We've seen her, just everything that she went through in the underworld, right, was absolutely crazy. So yeah. And that's the whole plan, right? We see that Kiku, even though he's faking his death, he still has a plan. That's why he let Alice be introduced to the world, so she can get that human sympathy, so they can start working on getting those type of AIs and the floodlights human rights. Because if they don't, they see that Wrath is going to be like diluted, it's going to go down, and they're gonna get all the technology, it's gonna go different places, they're gonna seize Alice, probably experiment, probably try to like back engineer the way she works. It's gonna be a nightmare, okay? A nightmare. And something that happened in that interview, right, where they were asking, well, how do we know she's not going to take over the world? How do we know, like, all these robots, whenever we make more and stuff like that, how do we know they're not going to rebel against humanity? And the doctor, the one that was introducing Alice, I forgot her name, she mentioned that it wouldn't happen unless they had no choice, right? Like, they're just here to like be here and be nice and stuff like that. But if we try to like hurt them or destroy them, they're gonna defend themselves. I mean, after all, they do work like humans. Their brains is just as good as ours. They're legit humans, but they just don't have like flesh. They're made out of metal. It's crazy. It's hard to like kind of, feel for them once you know that they're actually just metal. But we know from being inside the game and stuff like that, they're just exactly like humans. They have feelings. They hurt. I mean, we know everything about them because we've been with them. I can't stress that enough. So this brings me to my little point, right? Because we see that Kirito woke up in this episode, and he spent, I don't know how long, 200 years inside of that world, kind of becoming, he was the king along with Asuna being the queen, and they, they made the world, they protected the world. They've been in there for 200 years. Right, the general lifespan of a human is about 70 to 80 to 90, 100 maybe max. And the fact that Kirito lived in that world for 200 plus years, actually since he was a little kid, I forgot that when Kirito went inside the world, he was still like a little kid. But yeah, he's been long in that world longer than he's been on Earth. So of course he wants to protect that world. And Higa, he made a copy of Kirito's mind, only his. Only his. And it looks like Kirito and Asuna made a plan to where, like, if Asuna and Kirito were both copied, they were going to try to spend more time together. If Asuna was the only one copying, she was just going to delete herself. And if Kirito was the one that was copied, he was going to do whatever it takes to protect the underworld, right? So, are we going to get a full-scale war? Is something huge about to happen? I don't know, but that conversation that Kirito and Higa were having, especially when they were going to bring the other doctor, the one that started it all, I forgot his name as well. But once they were talking about those two people coming together, I see a revolution starting, okay? And I'm on their side, honestly, okay? I'm on their side because the people of the underworld, even though they're AI and they're floodlights, I do believe they do deserve human rights. I mean, again, I'm pretty sure the way they did this story is for us to feel that way, because we've been seeing Alice, we've been seeing the war they've been fighting in that world for a very long time, to where we get attached to these characters. And that's what they're trying to do now in the real life, introducing Alice to other different humans and stuff like that. We see Kirito, even though his mind was deleted, like all the memories from 200 years was deleted, he kind of wishes that everything was deleted. Because again, remember, he definitely, his friend Yu-Gi-Oh, he came back with, you know, little voices here and there, and that hurts, right? He spent 200 years in that world, you know, just protecting those people. Yu-Gi-Oh, the connection he made with them, it hurts. It definitely hurts. Kirito is definitely not in a good place mental wise. He's definitely gonna need some help, and we see that his sister is right there to help him. Really glad that she is. But yeah, I honestly don't even know how Kirito's ever going to go back inside like a virtual world or a game, because after everything he's been through, that dude, I think he should be done going into any gaming related worlds, because every time he does is bad news. This episode was absolutely great. I cannot wait for the next one. I did not see this coming. My only little concern is what happened to Poe, right? The Prince of Hell, I forgot his name, but we see that he died inside the machine. He was the one that got turned into a tree by Kirito. What happened to him? Because last time we checked, last episode, his body was never found. And what's going on there, right? They didn't kind of talk about it in this episode, so maybe we'll get an answer next episode. I don't know, but hopefully we get answers to that, because to me that seems like a huge plot hole to leave open, right? I don't know. I could be crazy. Maybe I didn't understand it quite well last episode, but we'll see. Definitely excited for the next episode. Cannot wait. Definitely this episode, even though we had no action, no fights whatsoever, just the world building, the story from each character. I kind of wish we could go back and see how Kirito and Asuna were doing for 200 years that they spent in there, right? What kind of stuff did they do? I want to see the world, how much has it advanced in 200 years, right? Like all the different characters and stuff like that. We might not ever get that, but you know, it is what it is. Overall, great episode. What did you think of this episode? And like always, go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.